Good afternoon, Neil.
Afternoon, Bob.
Could you first explain what your job role is at Sage?
Sure. Yeah, so I'm the EVP of Digital Marketing here at Sage. My responsibility is to think about how we go to market for a customer experience point of view across all different channels globally, and how we engage with people right throughout the purchase cycle from consideration to purchase and customer retention as well.
And so as far as the sort of marketing departments are concerned, what's the kind of makeup of your team? Is it a whole bunch of digital marketeers? Where do you start and stop? Have you got PR? Have you not got,
So I work with my peers, cover customer marketing, what you might call field marketing.
Right.
They cover the brand teams, so particularly brand and corporate communications, and the product marketing. So those are the peer groups that I operate with. Then in our area, the remit is to build customer experiences, whatever the channel. So that might be a web experience, a mobile experience, might be a social channel. To build the content for those as well. So there's a large part of that is really about thinking about what kind of content do people want to engage with. So we have a content team, including almost a news team, an editorial team in that. Then for a transactional point of view, a lot of our business is done online, and so the e-commerce side of it. So both the experience, the shopping cart, the retention, the upsell and cross-sell. So that's
all that's within your remit.
That's all within the digital remit, yeah. And then finally the social part of it as well, managing the social properties, the social platforms, and working with our partners like LinkedIn and Facebook.
And so just from a global perspective, you've got a team all over the world, haven't you? You've got digital marketeers in various geographies.
We have, yeah. We've, I came into the company a couple of years ago when it wasn't a core competence. And clearly in any big organization, you've got to have digital marketing as a core competence. So over the last 2 years, we've both trained a lot of people to upskill existing colleagues, and we've brought in a number of new colleagues as well to build what is now about a community of about 200 digital marketers across all the disciplines. And that would include things like campaign marketing, and media strategy, search strategy, areas like that as well.
Brilliant. So as far as content marketing is concerned, how important is that to you?
Fundamental. So I think most marketers today understand the significance and importance, whether you're a B2C brand or a B2B brand, of content marketing. As everyone will quote you the figure, and the percentages will vary, but between 60 and 75% of a user's time or a purchaser's time is spent before they contact a supplier. So they'll be doing their homework, whether it's a high-value purchase or a low-value purchase, online before they come and talk to you as a brand. So being in the conversation is really important. And one way to be in the conversation is to think about content and how you approach it. Traditionally marketing has been very stop-start and very interrupt-driven, interrupting people's day and trying to get their attention to do what you want them to do, not what they're trying to do. So really to play a different part and to be there on demand when people are looking for something. So it starts with a customer journey. Really, we spend a lot of time analyzing for our key segments and key personas, what does that customer journey look like? Really getting deep into that before we're building our campaign architecture and our message hierarchy, and then our content strategy on top of that, so they're all aligned. So depending on who you are, we address businesses, small businesses and startups, but also medium-sized businesses and some enterprises as well. So quite a wide range. And we span a range of solutions as well, from accounting to payroll to people management and payments. So we really want to be able to target the right person with the right message at any one time. That can be quite a range, as you say, in lots of different countries. So the content strategy really needed thinking through how we're going to build and then publish to the right content at the right time.
And what's the sort of but your markets are after that content. They want the education. Do they? I mean, because it's quite a.
We think so.
People are looking for help. Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. So a lot of our customers and our potential customers are smaller businesses.
Yeah.
They don't have the budgets that big companies have to go and buy research and subscriptions and so on. And these are the companies that are fueling the economy. So in the Western economies, over 2/3 of jobs are fueled by small and medium-sized businesses. So these are the growth engines of our economy. When the economy picks up, it tends to be driven first by entrepreneurs making gambles, taking risks, putting their own money into a business and growing it. And they may not have a lot of experience or help. Now we take, every day we'll take about 30,000 calls to help our customers use our products. And you might think they're kind of technical calls, but actually it's usually about how do I create an invoice, how do I get someone to pay me on time, how do I get my job done. And so we thought it'd be really interesting is we can take that advice and bottle it in some way and provide it to people in a very accessible way. We could genuinely help businesses to grow or to figure out how to trade internationally or to figure out how to do marketing on social media. Well, we needed to really get a team together that could think about that. So we wanted to start with looking at a content calendar. So what are the themes we want to speak to? When do we want to do it? There's themes that are dictated to us, like tax year end. There's other things that we want to drive, and we've got really interesting ideas. So putting together that content calendar, and then thinking about content differently as a real-time thing. So we've built actually an internal team, almost like a newspaper editorial team. We have an editor, we have a head of content, we've hired an editor and a team of writers, researchers, analysts, designers in the company. So we can put together really interesting points in a really interesting way, but really quickly as well. This is always on, near real time. So if we wake up in the morning and there's an issue, and there's been so many in recent months, particularly with Brexit or with elections in the US, then we want to be able to try and react to that and give people help about how they do that.
And so who's behind this team? Is there a few key players that you've got that drive it? Yeah,
we've got a wonderful head of content, Melissa Romo, who joined us from another company from SAP, who really thinks about content very strategically, and particularly how we can get lots of people in the company contributing to it. So we don't just want to go and pay marketers or writers to do it. We actually want the genuine thoughts and reflections of our colleagues who have lots of experience. So we've driven that, and she's got something she calls her content tribe, which is a community in the company of people who care about this, who are interested in it, and want to communicate and want to share their thoughts. So that's really been kind of crowdsourcing internally. And then we've also hired an editor, Karen, who's come in and driven the editorial side of it as well, and that news team. And we're just testing out different channels now, like video as well, and trying to get more video content into it, more infographics into it as well.
So really, you've kind of got your own digital marketing agency. So in digital marketing, you don't really use agencies at all. Then have you got everything you need, or do you have any kind of agency relationships at all?
No, we absolutely do. So we work with 2 or 3 agencies, particularly on the creative side for our campaigns, for our brands, and for our media strategy and execution. We do want to have a core competence internally of these things. If we think it's important, we think we should be able to do it ourselves. And so we've got great people that can do that, and some people we've cross-trained into it, and some people we've brought into it. So we use a complementary agency strategy. Let's have the core competence internally. Let's be able to run that content generation. But then if there's something specialist, like we're looking at that video example, let's initially go get some help, someone that can help up-level us and figure out the right way to execute on that. Then maybe bring someone in and hire someone to drive that forward as well. So a combination of agencies for really upscale, really new things, and also skills transfer as well.
Okay, and so what kind of results have you been seeing with this approach? I mean, in terms of volumes, or people buying product, or what's been the result?
Yeah, lots of different things. So, so the first thing is that we've been able to scale the amount of content that we publish. By consolidating efforts and realizing that an article about managing invoices in France is probably just as applicable in the UK or the US. So we can take content from different places, pull it together, translate it or transcreate it, and publish it everywhere. So we've reduced the costs of our content development, but significantly increased the output, about double the output of it. And then for each individual piece, our average engagement rate has also gone up. So the quality of the material we've been publishing has gone from quite a lot of spam type stuff in our news feeds to much higher quality advice. And that's meant for every piece we publish, we've actually doubled our engagement rates in the last year. So engagement being, have you engaged with it? Have you interacted with it? Have you made a comment? Have you shared it with someone else? Or have you just liked it? And that's a key measure for us, is how to what degree are people engaging with that content, which is very trackable.
Yeah.
And then the third bit is, then does it drive business? And can we connect that into business? And so we've been putting in place the tracking to be able to see how much this drives business. Now, it's easy today on social. It's very easy to see how much social is driving. And so we're investing a lot more budget behind our social organic feed as well. We're putting in place the model right now to do that across the piece, so all our content can be tracked for its impact on the business. But the areas that we're seeing about 10% of our lead sources are coming in directly from a native content element versus a promoted, a regular ad or a search term.
Okay, so what's next in terms of, so you've sort of you spent the last 2 years building this team, getting that process in place. What's kind of next for content? You've got the engine.
Yeah, lots of ideas. Probably too many ideas. So we've published all this on a new kind of portal that we're calling Sage Advice. So there's a great pun there, but we figured that we could really give people a kind of go-to place. If you're a business that wants to grow, can we give you a go-to place for advice? How can we do that? So that's right now. If you go to our new US website, which is sage.com/en-us, you'll see on the homepage there some advice. And what we're trying to do is put that into every customer journey. So if you're in our site, if you're looking at a product or you're trying to learn something, you'll see advice integrated right throughout the journey. And that then will go into our news feeds on our different social properties. The consequence of that is then if we get high-performing organic content, it's a lot cheaper to boost that with advertising. So the effect is actually reducing our advertising costs or improving the performance of ads so that our ad budgets go further. Really, really fundamental part of our ad strategy is our content strategy that's at the heart of it.
So from an analytics perspective, you've got a little analytics team or a big analytics team. You're really looking at the numbers then.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we've put together. We like to call it optimization. So not just being passive and looking at the numbers, but then deciding what to do about them. So we've got 2 or 3 folks who are in the optimization space, looking at both our web traffic, the conversions that's having, and then our social optimization as well. A dedicated guy doing that. So we can actually see how these things are crossing different channels and what's the attribution model we're putting in for it, and then which channels are making how much contribution. Therefore, where should we then go and optimize and invest more money? Should that be going into social, into promoting the blog, into our search keywords, into our display or our video? So it helps inform the marketing strategy as well.
And how are you broadly communicating across this community of marketeers? How are you keeping them happy? How are you, do you have a weekly meeting? Do you have a monthly meeting?
Mm-hmm.
Do you all get? And how are you doing that? Getting them motivated?
Well, they're writers, so they're really interested in communication.
Right.
So been really easy, I think, to engage with people, get them excited about it, and share. They want to share their ideas as well. So the content tribe meets. I think it's every month. There's a physical meeting online. We use telepresence and Skype a lot. There's a group, so we use Chatter internally as an internal collaboration platform. Works really well for getting conversations going, so you can just check in every day, follow what's going on, and then people start contributing their examples, what's working really well, and that then immediately resonates around the world. So you'll see something happen maybe in Asia in the morning, comes over to Europe in the afternoon, by the evening we're looking at stuff happening in the States. So we can literally follow the sun and see where things are happening, what's impacting, what's making a difference.
And as a broader marketing team, how are you organising that? How are you making everyone aware of what all the other moving parts are doing? How do you communicate?
Yeah, well, this is important. This is no one person or one team's job, right? Everybody plays a part in this. Content is at the heart of marketing. It's what we're saying, what we're doing. So we really want to make sure everyone understands the strategy, can play a part in it, and can contribute to it as well. So again, we use Chatter to do a lot of that communication and collaboration. We're also trying to get more colleagues contributing to external-facing content as well. So right now we're doing a call for writers to come and say, what are your subjects that you're interested in? Let's try and keep track of everybody. And then when we think there's an appropriate topic, use our own folks to do some of those articles. And it's great recognition for colleagues and their knowledge to share that publicly as well. So putting them on a platform.
Okay, so looking at marketing in general, you've come from a technology background. You've always been tech marketing jobs, and so running an operation like yours is quite an unusual skill set. So the digital marketeer skill set is quite unusual. Do you think it is a really rare skill set? And what do you think about how do people get that sort of broad marketing? and digital marketing and content marketing, you know, and PR and understand. You know, there's such a broad range of things you need to understand to be the person that you are. How do you think you develop that skill set?
Well, you know, I don't think it is. We're at the B2B marketing conference here in London today, and what I saw in the folks that I met, really, whether they've got 5 years experience or 25 years experience, tended to be across most of these issues and aware of most of the issues. I think you know, we've all followed the evolution in the last 15 or 20 years of the platforms, the Googles and the Facebooks, as marketing vehicles. And so I think everyone comes into this really aware of that. So I regularly will interview folks who have maybe 5 years experience with strong digital skills, strong content skills, you know, aware of corporate comms, aware of, you know, some awareness of brand, and a kind of, you know, pretty rounded. So I think it's really encouraging to see a lot of millennials with a really wide range of skills. It's absolutely what you have to come and be a competitive marketer that can look at any problem and solve it. I think the big thing we look for is curiosity when we're interviewing people. So do you have a curious mind? Are you really thinking about why is that happening? What's causing that? Data orientation, so the ability to really take data, you know, apply it. Yeah, there'll be people that will help you, but every day do you look at the data and see what's driving it? And then imagination, so left brain, right brain thinking. So you know, can you apply creative concepts, but then put them maybe into some sort of testing program so we can actually evaluate which of these ideas is the best one to execute on.
Brilliant. So picking it up as a theme in terms of innovation ideas, our little quick fire round, a couple of questions. What was your last big marketing aha moment? You know, where you saw something or...
So the shower moment. So I usually just send into the team in the morning and say I've had an idea in the shower, and everyone sort of groans. The last one was probably just test more quickly, prototype and test quickly. So if you're building, right now we're doing a lot of work on our web experiences, and you can really pretty much prototype any idea in a day, get that done, get it prototyped, and get it into testing, and get some feedback quickly before you then go and spend any more time thinking about it. So shorter cycles around prototyping was an initiative that we just had.
Right. Marketing hero, or somebody that you've seen that you've thought they're really good, and you've read their book or something like that. Is there? Yeah. It doesn't have to be a marketing person, but just somebody that you find inspirational.
Well, someone I think everybody knows is a guy called Mark Benioff, who started Salesforce, and prior to Salesforce, I got the chance to work for him at Oracle in the mid-90s, so decades ago. Who's a great business leader, but actually a great human being, great individual, real character and personality. As he'll say, very short attention span, so you really need to come with your game face if you're going to try and convince him to do something. But has obviously innovated, you know, one of the world's most innovative companies and most successful companies that really created the SaaS and cloud industry that we're all in. Was instrumental in driving that, but keeps innovating as well and keeps looking forward. So someone who is also a great marketer, great ideas, and very driven with, you know, coming up with an idea and then driving it and making it happen. And we actually have taken the methodology that Salesforce use for how they think about taking a vision and a strategy into practice and applied it at Sage. They've got a great methodology for that. And it's something that I learned from him probably 20 years ago, which is just boils it all down and makes it simple to really get people aligned to what you're trying to do.
And have you got, other than Salesforce.com, I suppose, a favourite B2B or B2C brand? As a marketer, you look at and you think, they really execute well, or you know, they're...
I think to me, I'll give you a category of brands. So rather than pick on one, I'd say the brands that have been created without, you know, through word of mouth effectively, or now social word of mouth. So if you look at the Interbrand 100 today, the top 100 brands measured by Interbrand, about 20 of them have been created in the last 20 years. Of the other 80, most of those brands would have been created, the Coca-Colas, the Heinz's, would have been created in traditional mass media, right? Big advertising budgets in the 50s and 60s. If you look at the 20 that have been created in the last 20 years or so, about 75% of those weren't created in the old school way, but were in the new school way, the way that we've come to know Facebook or Uber or Amazon, which has been word of mouth and through experiencing a product that has then been passed on to you. This is a great experience. Look at, you know, how did you get here? I got an Uber. have a look at this app, very easy to share. So I'd probably put those 15 brands, and you can probably figure out who they are. It's pretty easy to figure them out into that category, and then look for who's next, who's going to emerge and come into that category and fill that category. And it doesn't have to be necessarily new brands. It could be a brand that's been developed. It's something we're thinking about at Sage, is how could we really become one of those brands that through word of mouth and just through sharing and understanding through the communities that we serve, could we really make a difference.
Brilliant. Neil, that's been excellent. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Thanks, Bob.